I chose this topic, Siksastakam, because I thought this is a very relevant topic. We all daily recite Siksastakam, by the way. In most of the ISKCON temples after Mangalarti. And Siksastakam is also a central instructions of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, on which most of our songs from Gaudiya Vaishnavas and most of the books written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if you analyze them, they are simply based on Siksastakam. In fact, Siksastakam is also the last chapter of Caitanya Charitamrita, by the way. Untitled Chapter 20, that Siksastakam, Krishna Consciousness Swami personally chose to keep Siksastakam right in the end of the book. So why did he do that? Because he wanted to emphasize that Mahaprabhu's entire life, all the pastimes, all the teachings conclude in these 8 verses of Siksastakam. So today I'll be speaking on this, giving a little preamble about Siksastakam. What is it? Why Siksastakam? Why do we have this? Who spoke this or who didn't speak this, by the way? And also, what is the esoteric teachings of Siksastakam? How our Gaudiya Vaishnav philosophies, the foundation of this is Siksastakam. So before I begin, let me just pray some invocation prayers, and then I'll try to speak on this topic, and then we can discuss something, and that will be really nice and blissful and enthusiastic for all of us. Okay, I'll just pray obeisances. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paischatesh Tarine. This is Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah. Now we are all set. Okay, when we talk about Siksastakam, the first question there is, why Siksastakam is so special to all of us, especially to Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Now, there are many reasons for that. And one of the reasons I just told is that if you take any book of any Acharya, especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Rupa Goswami, you pick any book, all the books, all the songs also are systematically based on the 8 verses of Siksastakam, directly or indirectly. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a point in his books to base his books on Siksastakam. That's why Siksastakam is so special to us. That's the first reason. Second reason Siksastakam is special to us, because Siksastakam helps us to understand how should we chant. These are 8, Siksastakam seems to be 8 verses, but these are not 8 verses, by the way. These are 8 steps to temple of love of God. So that is, by the way, uniqueness of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are so many acharyas, Madhvacharya, Ramanuja, Nimbarka, Vallabha was contemporary, who came before Lord Chaitanya. So many saints, they all talked about love of God, directly or indirectly. Ramanuja Acharya, Madhvacharya, they talked about love of God, considering it as liberation. Mahaprabhu, he said, no, love of God is Pancham Purshat, it is beyond liberation. Ramanuja, he talks about love of God. Alvars, they're talking about love of God in their poems, in Divya Prabandha. Everybody's talking about love of God. but nobody gave a clear path and way to achieve love of God. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. Even if some sampradayas they gave a path to go to achieve, to attain love of God, even if some sampradayas did try to attempt this, it was not clear. For example, Nimbak Sampradaya, they tried to attempt to give a path towards love of God, but it was very partial. Vallabh Sampradaya, they talk about love of God, but they don't give a path to attain it. Ramanuja Madhva, they don't really talk about love of God, they talk about liberation, and then they talk the highest liberation is love of God, but they don't really talk about love of God. Their whole concept of love of God is hidden in their teachings, beneath the concept of liberation. So that's Namo Mahavada Nyaya. And that love of God, what is love of God? How do we attain it? What is the process? That is given by Mahaprabhu in these 8 verses known as Siksastakam. That's why Siksastakam is very special. Siksastakam is the way, the truth, and the life, isn't it? Like we talk, like Christ said in Bible, and the truth, the way, the life. Let's say about Siksastakam. Siksastakam is the truth, the way, the truth, and life. That is Siksastakam. That's how important Siksastakam is. And the third point why Siksastakam is special is because it is spoken by Lord Chaitanya himself. Lord Chaitanya wrote a book, by the way, on Sanskrit logic, on Nyaya, but he threw it into Ganges on the request of his friend Raghunath Shiromani. Raghunath Shiromani was his friend who later became a big stalwart in Nyaya philosophy because he wrote a book. And when he read Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's book, he was really, really sad. He should be happy. He should have been happy. But he was really sad because he said, if your book is published, my book will be completely eclipsed. Your explanation of Nyaya is beyond human intelligence. Mahaprabhu said, okay, so you are unhappy, let me throw my book in Ganges. He threw it. After that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't write anything. Did he speak Siksastakam? That's the question. Well, the answer is no. He didn't speak Siksastakam. Because did he speak Siksastakam? No, yeah. Was Siksastakam revealed to us like message is revealed to Prophet Muhammad? No. Was Siksastakam decoded? Was Siksastakam a cryptic message from olden times and was decoded by somebody like Charles Babbage did, or maybe Turing did? Was it like that? No. Was Siksastakam composed by somebody, by Lord Chaitanya or his secretary Swarup Damodar? Just like Shakespeare composed his poem? No. Then what's happening? From where did Siksastakam come? Did it drop out from the sky? No. Siksastakam Siksastakam is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became mad in ecstasy. He simply babbled these verses. Babbled, if you understand, babbled means just like a madman. He just speaks something without even understanding what he's himself speaking. That is Siksastakam. And that's why it is in Anta-lila, last chapter. Anta-lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita is all about madness of Lord Chaitanya, if you read the chapters. And in that madness, in one of his madness, in one of the nights when he was with Swarup Damodar, he simply poured out these verses from his heart. And those verses were poured into a vessel named Swarup Damodar. And there it condensed into 8 verses. And Swarup Damodar took a note on his diary. And from Swarup Damodar's diary, these 8 verses went to Raghunath Das Goswami, who was actually his mentee, was under him. And then from Raghunatha Goswami, it went to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he penned down those 8 verses in his book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Why? Because he wanted to, the main object of Chaitanya Charitamrita is to convey to us philosophy of Lord Chaitanya. There were many books before him, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Charita Amrit. There were many books by many devotees, Murari Gopt, Kavi Karnpurn Das, Chaitanya Chandrodaya. Then why did Krishnadas Kaviraj Swami write this book? He wrote this book because he wanted to include Siksastakam in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He wanted to give this to the entire world, this philosophy of Lord Chaitanya. Just like it is said, why Mahabharata is written by Vyasadeva. Of course, every chapter of Mahabharata is very important and very nice and very deep. Vyasadeva wrote Mahabharata in his maturity, and then came Srimad Bhagavatam. But Bhagavatam says Vyasadeva wrote Mahabharata just so that people can come to the point of Bhagavad Gita and hear that. So that's why Bhagavatam says if you remove Gita from Chaitanya, from Mahabharata, it's a useless exercise to read Mahabharata. So without Gita, is Mahabharata useless? Well, Mahabharata has so many good instructions. It is there, but the intention of Mahabharata was to bring to the climax of this war and then give Gita to the entire world. Similarly, Chaitanya Charitamrita has so many nice things. It's about Lord Chaitanya, his pastimes, but the intention of Chaitanya Charitamrita is to bring us to this final climax of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, that is Siksastakam. And that's why Siksastakam is so important to us. That's the third reason why Siksastakam is important. And that's why I chose to speak on Siksastakam today. So what are we going to learn from Siksastakam? What does Siksastakam teach? Well, Siksastakam has so many teachings. In fact, what not is there in Siksastakam? Let's discuss that. What is not there in Siksastakam? Well, what's the answer? Answer is nothing. That's all. Just like Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita is everything. What you can imagine, what you cannot imagine. Similarly, Siksastakam is everything. What you know, what you don't know. That's what Siksastakam is all about. But anyway, this is a little bit poetry. But by practical concerns, what are we going to learn from Siksastakam? What do we learn? First, very important thing, Siksastakam teaches us how to chant. The entire book by Bhaktivedanta Thakur by the name Bhajan 𝗪𝗪𝗪. This book, Bhajan 𝗪𝗪𝗪, Bhaktivedanta Thakur wrote, and in that book, he is discussing about chanting. But the uniqueness of that book is how to chant, why to chant, what is the result of chanting, what attitude should we have while chanting, what attitude should we have while not chanting, what are prayers are we supposed to do while chanting. All these topics, chanting, specifically chanting and prayers, this is the secret of Lord Siksastakam. Why? Because, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Param Vijate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Param Vijate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, chanting holy names. So, of course, and one verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita comes, Anarpita Chiram Chirat Karunya Vatirna Kalau Samarpite Unnata Jwala Bhakti Rasam. Mahaprabhu came to give us Anarpita Charim Chirat, Anarpita, which was never given, Chiram, for a long time, which was not given, Mahaprabhu came to give. What he came to give? He didn't come to give holy names, because holy names were already there. If you talk about chanting Hare Krishna mantra, Sri and Madhva Sampradaya, they already chant Hare Krishna mantra, by the way. It was there, but what Mahaprabhu gave? Mahaprabhu gave a way to enter that mantra. How to enter the spirit of that mantra, as it is said, don't follow the law without the spirit. Understand the spirit of law and not just the law. So Mahaprabhu came to give us the spirit of chanting. How do we chant? How do we pray? This is the essence of devotion, by the way, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he has got to teach us because he is a supreme teacher. 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗀𝗀 writes in his 𝗙𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀. He says Lord Chaitanya is a supreme teacher. Exactly, I forgot the word there, but he says he's a supreme teacher. So that is why, that is what we learn from Siksastakam. About chanting, everything about prayers, everything about service, how to do service. Chanting, prayers and service. This is what Siksastakam teaches us. And that's what is devotion all about. That's all. So as I discussed Siksastakam, I will be actually linking Siksastakam with actually chanting, how to chant properly, and also how to pray and what to pray. All these topics will come in Siksastakam. Okay, so now let's just enter directly into Siksastakam. Let's just dive into Siksastakam straight away. Now Siksastakam has 8 verses. Well, you might be wondering why 8, why not 9, why not 10, why not 13, why not 4? 8 verses because there are 8 gopis. That's all. 8 principal queens of Krishna. 8 gopis. 8 principal gopis. So there are 8 verses. Of course, 8 Ashtakam. There is another reason. Ashtakam is the usual pattern of poetry. When people write poetry, or I mean to say, Mahaprabhu didn't write, it simply flowed from his heart. But the whole point is, when great people, when they become mad, they from their heart pours out great compositions automatically. They don't need to sit and compose like us, like all of us. Like I have written books, so I have to sit and think and this. But when great people, they become mad, they spontaneously pour out compositions, just like Lord Chaitanya did in Siksastakam, or just like 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀 Thakur Prarthana. So Krishna Consciousness Swami, he says that is the unique of greatness, people. When ordinary person becomes mad, whatever comes from his mouth is complete chaos and disorder. But when great people, they become mad, whatever comes from their mouth is in complete order and completely systematic. Why it's like that? Because ordinary people's madness is pramad, it is mode of ignorance. And great people's madness is trigunatit, is beyond modes. They are witnessing reality when they're mad. And then they are putting reality into words. And what is reality all about? Reality is always symmetrical, always orderly. They are witnessing reality. They are not witnessing illusion. People are witnessing illusion when they become mad, ordinary man. And that illusion is always chaotic and disorder. When great people become mad, Nityanand Prabhu, 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀 Das Thakur, Lord Chaitanya, when they become mad, they are witnessing reality, that means beyond modes of nature. And they're witnessing reality, when they speak, automatically their words fall in order and systematic nature. This is what Krishna Consciousness Swami explains, by the way. So that's why we have 8 verses which is signifying Siksastakam. Most poetries are in Ashtakam or Dashakam. either in 10 or in 8. Most of them are in 8. That's the usual pattern. So it's in 8. And of course there are 8 gopis, 8 principal queens, and like that. And then the 𝗙𝗲𝗃𝗃. It's always 8 number he wants you to keep. This is not so important point, but I just put it casually. I just wanted to, there are so many points we have to discuss, but I just wanted to hit on practical points. Okay, let's go to the first verse. Everybody knows this first verse, so I didn't really try to make any PPT. There's no point. The first verse is 𝗤𝗄𝗪𝗻 mahādāvāgnirpāpanam ශ්‍රേයकैरवचन्द्रकावितरणं विद्यापदुजीवनम आनंदाम विदुवर्धनम प्रतिपदम पूर्ण अमृत स्वादनम सर्वात्मनस्नापनम param vijate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the chanting of holy names of Lord. So, the first verse, now the first question about first verse is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking about the glories of chanting the holy names. The glories of chanting of the holy names. Or in other words, why to chant? That's the question. Why to chant? First of all, why to chant? What do we get from chant? Why should I chant? That's the first question, isn't it? You have to convince yourself also, why to chant? And that Mahaprabhu is answering in the first verse. So he gives 8 benefits of chanting. Now you see, we are all conditioned people, isn't it? So we don't do anything without any benefit. Am I right? So this is what is under reflex. So why to chant? Is there any benefit? Okay, there are 8 benefits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 benefits. 7 benefits of chanting. So these benefits help us to inspire us to chant. Okay, there are so many benefits. So let me chant. Of course, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also not just telling us the benefits of chanting of holy name so that we chant, but it's glories of chanting of holy name, because these are the glories of holy names. This is what is a benefit when somebody chants. This is what are glories of holy name. These are the gifts which holy names want to give us. These 7 gifts holy names want to give us. Minimum. I mean to say, holy name has infinite gifts. But these are 7 principal gifts, primary gifts, which we can appreciate, which we can use to, these gifts we can use to chant properly and enthuse us in service to God and then attain love of God. So these are the gifts, these are the 7 stages to temple of love of God. Right in the first verse, by the way. So the question is, why 7? Why not 8? Why not 9? Why not infinite? Why just 7 benefits? Why not 8 benefits? Why not 9 benefits? Well, there are 2 answers for this. Why 7 benefits? The first answer is, chanting, it is said by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, chanting is sacrifice. Am I right? Param vijate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Chanting is a sacrifice. Japanam, yajnanam, japo yajnasmi. Of all sacrifice, I am japa yajna. It's a supreme sacrifice. So in Upanishads it is said, in sacrifices, in any sacrifice you put fire. So this fire, in sacrifice, when you burn fire, that fire is of 7 types. For example, Kali, Karali, Lohita, like this. There are 7 types of fire in that one fire. When you light sacrifice, when you light the fire in sacrifice, they have also different names for that there. So and different occasions they invite different types of fire. But whatever fire they invite, there are 7 subtypes of fire in that one fire. There are always 7. That's why Bhakti Santa used to say, it is a 7-tongued flame Sankirtan movement of the Lord. 7-tongued Sankirtan movement. Similarly, there are 7 fires here, 7 benefits of this Sankirtan movement, 7 sparks, 7 types of fire, which helps us to attain the fire of love of God. The fire of love of God which resides in the heart of gopis. Gopi bhartu padkamale or das anu das anu das. That's why there are 7 benefits. And then of course, philosophically if you talk, philosophically there are 7 benefits because there are 7 stages to actually love of God, to perfection of life. There are 7 stages, which I'll just talk about that. These stages are, let's put it. There are 7 stages to Temple of Love of God, right in the first verse, and the entire Siksastakam again speaks about 8 steps to about 7 steps to Temple of Love of God in details. But in first verse, Mahaprabhu gives a preamble, a preface, indication. What are these 7 stages to Temple of Love of God? So what are these 7 stages? Let's talk about that. But okay, the first stage is Chetodarpana Marjanam. And now Chetodarpana Marjanam, Chetodarpana Marjanam, everybody knows. The first benefit of chanting of holy name is it cleanses our heart. It cleanses our heart of lust, anger, greed, blah blah blah. Things keep on going. But the first point which I want to raise here is why we want to clean our heart. That's the most important question. Okay, chanting helps you to clean your heart. But why do we want to clean our heart? And the next question is, how does chanting help us clean our heart? Why I'm raising this question? Because many people chant, but their heart is not cleansed. Many people keep on chanting, but their heart is not cleansed. So how does holy name cleanse our heart? But before that, the question is, why do we want to clean our heart? Now, if you want to answer this question, well, people can say we want to clean our heart because we want to become pure. When we become pure, we want to serve the Lord properly. That's okay. That's a good answer. But that's one of the reasons. But we want to clean our heart because Srila Prabhupada says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, heart is compared to a mirror. And the mirror is covered with dust of lust, anger, greed. Why the heart is compared to mirror? Why not heart is compared to a violin or a glass or something else? Why a mirror? Why not a rose? Why not a lotus? Because when you cleanse the mirror, you can see your own face. So that's why we want to cleanse our heart. We want to cleanse our heart so that we can see our own Sarupa in that. We can see ourselves. But that's not a good answer, by the way, according to Gaudiya Vaishnava perspective. That's not really a good answer. Because when Srimati Radharani, she sees the mirror, she doesn't see herself. She sees her eyes. But she doesn't even see her eyes. She sees Krishna in her eyes. So, and when Krishna looks in the mirror, he sees Srimati Radharani standing behind. He's not trying to find himself in the mirror, by the way. And that's very interesting. Neither Radha is trying to find herself in the mirror. So when our mirror of the heart is cleansed, we are not trying to find ourselves in that mirror, although our image will be reflected in that. But we are trying to find Krishna in that mirror. So why we want to cleanse our heart? So that we can offer this mirror, this clean mirror to Krishna, and he can see himself in that mirror. We're preparing our heart to offer it to God so that he can use it to see himself. And when he sees himself, reflected in that mirror, we'll be able to see Him. And when we see Him, that's a perfection of life. That actually Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, what I am telling now. Prabhupada says you should offer your clean heart to God. So that's why we want to clean a heart. We don't want to clean a heart for our own sake, even for knowing our own Sarupa. We want to clean a heart so that we can offer it to Krishna and He can see Himself and He can use it for His own pleasure. So if you don't really understand this point, and you think your heart is clean, or anybody thinks his heart is clean, it's actually not clean because still there is dust, there's subtle dust of selfishness there. That subtle dust. There are some gross particles of dust, lust, anger, greed, envy, but then there's subtle particles of lust, which you can't see, but it is there. So it's almost like a computer screen, isn't it? When the computer screen is on, you can't see the dust, but when you off the screen, then you can see small particles on the screen, and then you rub it with a solution or whatever. So that's very difficult to see. That's selfishness. There is selfishness. If you want to cleanse your heart, to become pure, or to see your own, recognize your own Sarupa, no. Just for Krishna. Everything is reserved for Krishna. That's all. Everything is reserved for Krishna. Everything is for Him, by Him, of Him. That's why you want to cleanse the heart. So that is 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀 And when you cleanse the heart, then 𝗪-𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗀 The next benefit is 𝗪-𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗀 Dabagni means forest fire. Bhava Maha means great forest fire. Nirvapanam means it extinguishes the forest fire. So what is that forest fire? We might be free of lust, anger, greed, and also selfishness, but then there is desire to be selfish. That's more deeper. Desire to remain selfish. Desire for lust. That is little deep. Okay, I am selfish, I am lusty. Okay, I can wipe my lust, I can remove my lust by chanting, I can remove my selfishness by chanting. But then it comes back again. That's the whole problem. Why? Because we desire it. So, 𝗪-𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗪𝗀 that desire is the forest fire that consumes everything. That's a forest fire. So, that desire for lust, not only selfishness is removed from chanting of holy name, 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪, but also the desire for lust, desire for selfishness. That's the second benefit. This is, second benefit, desire for lust. Now, the third benefit is 𝗪ecie𝗰𝗶𝗪𝗀 Now, the first two stages are actually bhajan kriya and anarth nivriti. Anarth nivriti, of getting free of lust and the desire of lust, and then comes nishtha. So, 𝗪ecie𝗰𝗪𝗀 that's the level of nishtha. 𝗪ecie𝗰𝗪𝗀 means white lotus. Shreya means pure. So, at this point, when desire for lust is finished, when the desire for selfishness, that's cleansed, your heart becomes pure like white lotus. 𝗪ecie𝗰𝗪𝗀 And the uniqueness of white lotus is it blooms only in moonlight and not in sunlight. White lotus, it requires moonlight. 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗀 Chandrika means moon. Vitarana means to bestow. The holy name is like a moon, which bestows, which gives out cool moon rays so that the white lotus of a heart, it blossoms. So at this point, remember, our heart has become clean. 𝗪ecie𝗰𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀 At this point, what happens is our faith becomes very strong. by the power of holy name. This is a stage of nishtha. That's the third benefit. Our heart becomes very pure and heart becomes fully convinced. And then vidya vadu jivanam. And the fourth benefit is vidya vadu jivanam. Vidya means, by the way, vidya means knowledge. Vidya also means good qualities. Because Krishna says in Gita, etad jnanam iti proktam ajnanam tad anyatha. What is knowledge? Amanitvam, adambitvam, shantir, arjavam, all good qualities, all divya gun, that is knowledge. Anything besides this is ignorance. So vidya means good qualities. Out of all good qualities, the best quality of a devotee is his interest in devotion. So vidya vadu, vadu means bride. Bride, a devotee is like a bride of God, which has all good qualities, especially his ruchi in Krishna, in Krishna Katha. Jivanam, holy name, is a life of such kind of devotee who has this transcendental knowledge in the form of good qualities, in the form of ruchi. This then stage is a stage of ruchi. Previous stages of nishtha, firm faith, and vidya vadu jivanam is the stage of ruchi, where a devotee develops interest in chanting of holy names and interest in Lord's name, pastimes, guna, rupa, lila. And then comes anandam buddhi vardhanam. Ambudhi means ocean. Vardhanam means increase. Ananda means bliss. The ocean of bliss keeps on increasing by the chanting of the holy names. This is what do we say? So which benefit? Chitodar pranamarjanam bhammadavagan nirvapanam 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗶 vidya vedu anandam. Fifth benefit. This is a stage of asakti. Attachment. Now you become attached to the Lord, and when you become attached, your bliss increases manifold. Pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. At every step, this is a sixth benefit. By chanting holy names, by every step, every name, you will experience complete bliss. It's not you will experience 1, 2, 3, 4. You will experience infinite, 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 infinite. Pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. This is a stage of love. And then sarvatmana snapanam. Snapana means to bathe. Sarvatmana means all senses. Atma here means senses, soul, mind, every particle of your body. All the particle of your body, snapanam, they'll be bathed in the ocean of love. Sarvatmana snapanam. This is the seventh benefit. That is your desire to keep that love becomes deep-rooted now in every atom of your body. You see the whole point. It's almost the same. You have lust and you have desire for lust. You have love and you have desire for love. So when you attain love, your desire to attain that love even more, it just becomes very intense. Your desire not to lose that love becomes intense. And it pervades every atom of your body. That is sarvatmana snapanam. And once you have that desire not to lose that love at any cost, that's the perfection of life, where chanting wants to lead us. That was his 7 stages, 7 benefits of chanting of the holy names of Lord. Okay, that's the first verse. Now, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he recited this first verse. What happened? I mean to say, okay, now we have heard about this first verse. And so what this first verse is teaching? It is teaching why to chant. Why to chant? Why we want to chant? Because there are so many benefits. And why do we want to chant? Not just because there are so many benefits, because holy name is so powerful. So we want to take shelter of such a powerful person, such a powerful name. Naturally. Now everybody wants to take shelter of powerful person, a powerful mantra. Okay, here's mantra. It's the most powerful. It can even capture God. So that's how you want to chant. So after hearing this first verse, 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀 𝗪𝗲, what happens? When we hear it so nice, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke this verse, suddenly he became very sad after speaking this verse. And that's what Krishna Consciousness Swami writes in Antya-lila. He says, Denne, and he says, 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗶. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita explanation there, it says, Denne and 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗶. Okay, sixth benefit. Oh, sixth benefit? Okay, somebody asking what's the sixth benefit. Sixth benefit was Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. I'm just repeating, somebody asked. Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam, that is, at every step you will taste complete bliss, infinite bliss. With every name of the Lord, that is love of God. And the seventh benefit is desire to keep that love. That is sarvatmana snapanam. That's how it went. So this is the first. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke this verse, first verse, after speaking the verse, he was in bliss, but he suddenly became sad. Now it doesn't happen with us. Now we have heard this first verse is so nice, but you don't become sad. But he became sad. Denne and arti and shokam. Now, why he became so sad? Why he became so sad after speaking the first verse? This is called devotion. You see, whatever we feel now, that is completely from material plane, from mental plane, or maybe even more grosser than that, but not definitely subtler than that. But Mahaprabhu is on spiritual plane, and he is helping us to enter the mysteries of holy name. And the key to entrance of mysteries of holy name is sadness and not happiness, by the way. And I'll come to that point as we move forward. Of course, we don't really show that sadness outside. Of course, we are also happy. It's both happiness and sadness, but the key is sadness. So Mahaprabhu suddenly became sad. Why? Because he thought that, my God, holy names have so beautiful, so many benefits. And it is there. And I am chanting holy name, but I am not experiencing any of this. That's why he became sad. Now his sadness is coming from his humility. That's why Krishna Consciousness Swami says, when Mahaprabhu heard the first verse, he became sad, and also he experienced humbleness, denne and arti. This is a devotion. This is the devotee. Am I right? This is a devotee. This is a devotee. Oh, can you elaborate on sadness versus happiness? Well, this is somebody asking here. Yeah, so devotee experiences both happiness and sadness. We are happy because we are chanting holy names, and we are so fortunate we have got these holy names. The most powerful mantra, right from spiritual world, right personal mantra of Srimati Radharani. But Srila Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Devotion, if you read properly, Srila Prabhupada writes, anybody can experience happiness, even without attachment to God. But without attachment, to experience sadness is impossible. Without attachment, one thing is impossible to experience, that is sadness. So happiness, okay, fine. If you see a small child, you become so happy, right? It's such a small child, 2 years, 3 years old child. He'll be just pranking and speaking, mama, papa, whatever, in his nice, sweet voice. People are so happy, But if something happens to the child, you'll be, okay, fine. Oh my God, something happened. But who will experience the sadness? Mother. She'll be messed up if something happens to a child. She'll be completely out of our mind. Sadness. Parents experience sadness. So wherever there is attachment, there is sadness. If you are experiencing happiness, it's not necessary you're attached. Sadness is sign of attachment. That's why a devotee feels sadness. Also, we are happy that we are chanting holy names, that we are on this path. We've got devotees. But we are sad that we have not yet attained perfection on this path. So, what do we focus? On happiness or sadness? Well, focus on sadness. That's what Mahaprabhu is saying. That's the key to advance. Internally, don't show externally. Our devotion should never be shown externally. Narottam Das Thakur says. Prabhupada says in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. Internally. And that sadness will help you to enter the kingdom of God. That's why there is one saint, Islamic saint, and God said to her, that so many devotees, I'm so happy, so many devotees are giving me prayers, are giving me praises, are actually giving me gifts and offerings, but I'm not so satisfied because my kingdom is full of gifts and offerings and prayers. What I want is sadness. That's why Krishna disappeared from the Ras Leela. Why? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, because he wanted to see sadness of gopis. Because sadness indicates attachment. Why Ram left Ayodhya and Bharat stayed behind? He wanted to see sadness of Bharat. Why allowed Ravan to kidnap Sita and then she was there in Ashok Vatika? He wanted to see sadness of Sita and he wanted to show their sadness to this world. And he wanted to show this is the sign of attachment. So Mahaprabhu immediately experienced sadness because he's attached to holy name. That's the point there. If you're attached to chanting of holy names, as soon as you hear the first words of Siksastakam, what you will experience? You will experience happiness that, oh my Lord, my holy name is having so many glories, but you will experience more sadness because I have not yet attained these benefits. I have not realized the glories of holy names. I know this, but I have not realized. That's out of humbleness. For Mahaprabhu, it's out of humbleness. Mahaprabhu thinks I'm an ordinary person. We are actually ordinary person, isn't it? But still we are not experiencing humbleness and lamentation. We are actually not ordinary. We are actually nonsense people. Prabhupada says we are all nonsense. We are not even in normal condition. A normal person will experience sadness. Am I right? If somebody tells you that actually 5 million pounds are reserved for you. Your grandfather reserved 5 million pounds for you. It is in such and such bank. And he put 5 million pounds like your grandfather in this bank, and this is the in this locker, and this, and all details are there, and you become so happy. But the only problem is you don't have the key of the locker. You don't have the code. You don't have the code of the locker. So what to do? I have got so much information, but I can't open that. So what are you supposed to become happy or sad? You are happy, but then it's sad. You can't get it. That's why Prabhupada says you are licking a closed honey bottle. That's the same thing Bhaktivedanta used to say. So Mahaprabhu experienced lamentation. That's a normal response of hearing the first verse. A normal response should be lamentation and humility. You read Chaitanya Charitamrita and read the explanation of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and you see there that should be the normal response of a sane mind after hearing the first verse. You should experience lamentation and humility. So Siksastakam is also helping us not just to know how to chant or how to pray, how to serve, but also, this is very important point, it's also helping us to learn how to cultivate a mood in devotion. And what mood should we nurture and cultivate? Perhaps we might be nourishing we might be nourishing something else. We were supposed to nourish a cucumber plant. We were supposed to put some fertilizer in cucumber plant, but we put fertilizer in a tomato plant. Now that doesn't serve our purpose because we want cucumber. So that's lamentation and humility. That's a normal response. And then he comes to the second verse and he says, Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva sakti chatrarpita nimita smarnena kala 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗃𝗃 namapi 𝗪𝗲𝗪 mihajanina anuragha. See this lamentation and humility. He says, there's so many names, my Lord, you have so many names. And it has all powers, but see my misfortune. I don't have even a speck of taste for chanting holy names. This is a devotee, by the way. This is a devotee. Absolutely free of all pride. Completely humble in the eyes of Lord. This is a humble response of hearing the first verse. And this is the devotee which is liked by God. This second verse is talking about power of chanting. The first verse was talking about why to chant. The second verse is talking about the power of chanting. Now, what's the power of chanting? Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis. Shakti, it's talking about power. It's having all powers. What's the real power of chanting? The real power of chanting is it can bring Krishna under his control. That is why Rupa Goswami says, holy name is greater than God. God's name is greater than God. That's why it is said. Because God's name can bring even God under his control. So, that's the power of chanting. Prabhupada says in one of his lecture, Krishna will be in your fist. And the lecture ends, 𝗙𝗲𝗹𝗶𝗄 like that. Usually it ends like that. That's a quite powerful line. Krishna is in your fist. The holy names, I mean to say the most powerful person of the universe is under your control. What else do you want? People want to become controller, but we want to become controller of the controller. So that's what is the second verse talking about power of chanting. Nam namakari bahuda. Why there are so many names of God? Krishna is saying, I have infinite names. Why there are so many names? Well, you might say Krishna is infinite, so his names are infinite. But why? Why? Because all these names of Krishna are... Why Krishna has so many names, by the way? Why he chooses to keep so many names? He could have also kept one name. He's independent, he can do anything. You ask Krishna, how many names you have? I have just one name. Why one name? I want that, that's all. It's my wish. Do you have any problem? Get lost. Krishna is independent, am I right? But why he has chosen to keep infinite names? He could have equally chosen to keep one name, two names, three names. It's his will. Why infinite names? Because he is not under his control. Because he has infinite devotees. And those devotees have different kind of loving sentiments for Krishna. And different relationships with Krishna. And according to those loving sentiments and relationships, Krishna has a particular name. So because there are infinite devotees and there are infinite loving sentiments and infinite relationships, because we are not Mayavadis, we are Vaishnavas, there is reality, there is real nature of the soul, and that's why based on those sentiments and loving relationships, there are infinite names. Based on the loving relationships, there are infinite pastimes. And based on the pastimes, there are infinite names. So Krishna has infinite names because of his devotees. They are infinite devotees. That's why it is said, Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis. It has all power Why power? Because these names are according to loving sentiments of Lord, and those loving sentiments can control him. Because these names are product of those loving sentiments. And Nam Namakari Bhavaneja Sarvatakti Tatrar Pita Nimada Smarnana Kala. There are no rules. There's just one rule, always chant. That's the one rule. Otherwise there's no rule. Na desh, na niyam, na kal. There is no rule at all. There's no rule, yeah. There's no restriction. The whole point, the philosophical point here, which Mahaprabhu is trying to bring is, holy names cannot be restricted by any rules and regulations. Otherwise, because he wants to actually convey to us that that holy name is independent and nothing can restrict him. That means we are not proponents of Karma Kanda philosophy. Just by saying this, Tatrar Pita Niyamata Smarana Kala, Lord Chaitanya has defeated Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda is a philosophy which says even God is under rules and laws of karma. But Mahaprabhu says no, holy name, even his holy name is not under laws of karma or not under any rules. Because if you say there are rules, suppose if somebody says, no, while chanting Hare Krishna mantra, you should sit like this, and then you should do pranayam, and then you should chant like this, and this time you have to chant. So there are certain rules. So there are no, yeah, okay, fine. So I've just noted a question here. So there are no rules. So, well, if you say like that, that means you are putting holy name under restrictions, and that itself is offense. That itself is offense. Because holy names is independent. You can't put holy name under any rules. It is independent. Okay, so there are no rules. But then there was one question. Are there any offenses? So what about offenses? Well, there are offenses against holy names. That's okay. But there are no rules for chanting. That's the whole point. You don't need any particular place, particular time. Of course, there are some conditions under which you should chant. That's okay. To have a condition under which you are chanting, but to have a rule when you are chanting, that's a very different thing. Now the whole point is, those conditions are for us and not for holy name. Even those offenses, you have to chant without offenses, that is a condition on us and not for holy name. Because when liberated people, they chant, there are no offenses. Liberated people chant, we chant, but they get result, we don't get result. Why? Because they are not doing any offenses. So these offenses, the restriction of offenses is for us, that we should not do offenses. You should simply chant with correct attitude. So you will get, and with that, if you have proper attitude, then you don't need any time, place, or the rules are specifically regarding to time and place. There is no time and place. Just like there are rules in deity worship, there are rules in yagyas, there are rules in chanting of Vedas, but here there are no rules. So holy name is not under rules. Is holy name under offenses? No. We are under offenses. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives an example, just like there is sun, and then there are so many clouds, and then so you can't see the sun because of clouds. So who is behind clouds? We or sun? We are behind, we are restricted by clouds. Sun is not restricted by clouds, because somebody in America, he can see the sun. Clouds cannot restrict sun. Clouds can restrict our vision. So offenses cannot restrict holy name. It can restrict our vision. That's the whole point there. So holy name is beyond everything. So that's why that is why it is said, Nam Namakari Bhavaneja Sarvasaktis Tatrar Pita Niyamata Smarnena Kala 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗍𝗹𝗪𝗀 Mamapi. This is very important. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗍𝗹𝗪𝗀 Mamapi. Mahaprabhu says, oh my Lord, you're such a mercy that you have descended in form of holy names. Mahaprabhu is bringing a philosophical point. He's saying, oh my Lord, you are approachable. That's the whole point. You are approachable. That God which is praised, who is praised by Upanishads as Nirvikar, Nirgun, Nirakar. It's all not. You can't approach him. 𝗙𝗲𝗶𝗶𝗃 𝗪𝗲𝗃. He is that from where words return back. He cannot be explained. He cannot be experienced. This is how Upanishads explain and glorify God. And so such God, how can we even imagine to approach him? He's infinite. How can you approach him? Such a tiny living entity we are. Mahaprabhu says, no, he's approachable. He's approachable. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗍𝗪𝗪. Only for us he have descended in form of holy name. Through holy names he is approachable. And this is so nice that God is approachable. It's so nice. Otherwise, I mean to say, if you want to meet Prime Minister of America, Trump, you can't meet him. He's simply unapproachable. If you want to approach him, if you want to meet him, you have to have special approach, special security. I don't know, something. You should be a very special person to meet him face to face and have a meeting. Otherwise, the ordinary person, for him, he's unapproachable. But even for an ordinary person like us, Mahaprabhu is saying, even for sinful people like us, God is approachable. That is, he's sulabh. He's very easy to approach. Simply chant holy names. But you should learn how to chant. That's the power of chanting. Chanting makes God approachable. Approachable. Not just keep God under his control. But chanting makes God approachable. Okay, forget about controlling God. First, he should be approachable. Because many philosophers, they say God is simply unapproachable. He cannot be defined. He doesn't have any form. According to them, I mean, it's a material form, but whatever it is. He's so pure and we are so sinful. That's what they say. But Mahaprabhu says, no, he's approachable. But through holy names. This is a key, through holy names. And then Mahaprabhu says, 𝗲𝗲𝗪𝗍𝗪𝗪. But the whole point is, it's my misfortune that I don't have any attachment due to my own offenses. Because of my offenses, I don't have attachment to chanting of holy names. I am chanting. The whole point Mahaprabhu is saying, I am chanting, but I don't have attachment. There are 2 points there. There's a difference. We might be chanting, but we might not have any attachment. And that's what Mahaprabhu says. That's why Chaitanya Charitamrita says, 𝗪 जन्म यदि करे श्रवण कीर्तन तब न पाए कृष्ण पदे प्रेम धन. If you chant for millions of lives, still you will not attain love of God. Why? Because if you have offenses, and if because of offenses you don't have attachment to chanting, so your chanting can keep on going mechanically, but if you don't have attachment, holy name will not reveal himself to you. But to get relieved of offenses and chant and get attachment, the way out is chanting itself. Chanting is a way for chanting. That's the whole point. But the point is, you should know how to chant. The art of chanting. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It will work, but it will take a long time. It's going to work. Krishna will never fail. His holy name will never fail. You might fail, but he'll not fail. He will bring you somehow. But then you can miss chance, and then you can get so many lifetimes. You will keep on revolving. And God knows what will happen, what will become in between of us and what's going to happen. So that's the whole point there. 𝗲𝗪𝗪𝗍𝗪. And then the third verse there is 𝗏𝗏𝗪 सुनीचेन तरोरिव सहिष्णुनाम मानेन मानदेन कीर्तनया सदा हरि. Now the whole point is, now we learned why to chant, and then we learned the power of chanting. These first 2 verses are basically sambandha. We talked about, Mahaprabhu always said about sambandha abhidhay prayojan. First 2 verses is sambandha. What is our connection with holy name? What is not our connection with holy name? Let's put it like that. Our connection with the holy name is that we don't have any connection with the holy name. We realize that. That's our connection. Constitutionally we are connected, but functionally we are not at the present moment. So that's sambandha. Now third and fourth and fifth, that's abhidai, the process of chanting. Of course, first two verses also speak about process, but that's particularly sambandha. Third, fourth, fifth verse is abhidai, and they're talking about the process, the quantity of chanting and the quality of chanting. Third verse is talking about quantity of chanting. Now we know the power of chanting, we know why to chant, so we want to chant more and more and more and more, but how to do that? How to chant more and more and more and more? How to chant more? So what to do? Well, what to do is, what to do? Well, one of the solution is you can increase number of rounds. Keep on chanting. 16, 32, 64. Keep on chanting. But another option is, you can do that. Or maybe on special festivals you can chant 24, 5 rounds. You can increase your quantity. But that's not the way you increase the quantity of chanting. The whole point is you can increase 25, 32, but then you will come back again to 16. Or maybe even lesser than that. Sometimes, if your mind is spaced out, it can happen to all of us. So how to permanently increase the quantity? Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is chanting 1 lakh holy names daily for years together. Bhaktisiddhanta, he was chanting 3 lakh holy names for 9 years, every day. How to be consistent in quantity of chanting, in increasing our quantity? That's the whole point. Consistency, perseverance. That's the third verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, if you want to increase the quantity of chanting, or how to always chant, Sada Kirtanya Hari, what to do? You have to learn not just the technique of chanting, but the technique to live your life properly. Now this third verse is a connection between the way of life and chanting. So chanting is not just when you are chanting. That's not the point there. You can't say, okay, I live my life like this, and whatever I want to do, and I will chant more and more and more. That will never happen, because your chanting and your life should come together. So chanting of holy names is a way of life. It's connected to your life, to your way of life. So the whole point is, if you want to increase quantity of your chanting, you have to have a proper attitude to live your life. That's the whole point. I'm not saying proper attitude to chant. I'm saying proper attitude to chant, that I will tell later. But I'm saying proper attitude to live your life. Or in other words, you should know how to chant, and you should also know what you should do when you're not chanting. And then then you can always chant. You should have a proper attitude when you're chanting and when you're not chanting. A attitude to live. And what's that attitude? Proper attitude to life, to your entire life. That's what is third verse. If you apply this third verse, then your quantity of chanting will increase. So what's that third verse all about? Mahaprabhu is saying there are so many divine qualities. There's the 16th chapter Gita, 13th chapter Gita. Says of divine qualities, good qualities, virtues, as they say in Christianity. There's so many virtues. But Mahaprabhu says, if you have these 4 virtues, 4 qualities, just 4, this is what you have to cultivate. And if you cultivate this in your daily lives, in your daily moments, dealings with others, even dealing with God in the deity form, or even while chanting, then you can always be chanting. If you are in that mental setup while you are living in this world of dead matter, in this world full of enviousness and lust and anger, if you have this kind of mental setup, you will always be able to chant. So remember, increasing quantity of chanting is not a mechanical process like dhyana yogis. It's not simply a practice that you can keep on chanting more and more and practice more and more and then your quantity will increase. No, you will, someday it will come back again to zero, or maybe it will again come back to whatever minimum you were. To permanently increase quantity of chanting, you have to change your mental setup, mental perspective to live your life. That has to be changed. So what are those 4 virtues? So for that you have to cultivate these 4 virtues, just 4, not all virtues. Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter, it gives 19 virtues, divine qualities, Daivi Sampada. Mahaprabhu says, okay, I give you 4. Trinadapi Sunichena. First is humility. You have to cultivate humility in life. Now what is humility? Generally we think humility is speak softly, or maybe respect others. That's okay, that you have to do. That's common manners. Or humility is don't speak back to somebody. Don't speak in harsh voice. Whatever anybody says, just accept it. That's not humility, that's foolishness. But of course, some manners should be there. But humility is just, Mahaprabhu defines here, Uttam hoya, so Chaitanya defines, Uttam hoya Vaishnav hobe nirabhiman, Jive saman dive jani Krishna dishthan. Uttam hoya Vaishnav hobe nirabhiman. Uttam hoya apna ke mane heen. Humility, real humility is when, Mahaprabhu says, when you are the best of devotees, still you consider yourself the worst. That's humility. A sweeper, if he says, I am a sweeper, I am nothing, well, you are a sweeper, we know, and you are nothing. That's not humility, that's reality. If a king says, I am a useless person, then he is humble. When Haridas Thakur says, I can't chant, Mahaprabhu is so happy. When we say, I can't chant, Mahaprabhu will be happy. He'll say, come on, I know you can't chant, you have to chant, Baba. You should chant properly. I'm sick of you. He'll not be happy. Okay, I give you mercy. He can give mercy. Okay, please chant, But he's happy with Haridas Thakur because he can always chant. So when you are the best and you say you are the worst, that's humility. That is Uttam hoya. That is humility. Otherwise, it's reality. That doesn't please God. And humility means full submission. Humility means full submission to the absolute truth, following the orders of Krishna and his devotees. As it is, simply follow the orders. Don't complicate things. Don't just complicate things, just simply follow. Don't apply your speculation or logic even, in fact. In fact, the greatest enemy of humility is logic and intelligence. Now you might say, well, you need intelligence, and intelligence is friend, but it's also a worst enemy because it can block you following the orders, giving you some practical concerns. Okay, this is practical thing, this is practical, I should not do this. Although the order is this. Order is simple. Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna updesh. Wherever you see, speak about Krishna. Order is simple. Become pure. Order is simple. Attain love of God. This is the order. So what's the problem? It's following the orders. And third meaning of humility is no sense gratification. Don't try to enjoy the property of your master. To enjoying property of your master, everything belongs to God. Even your body belongs to God. Even your soul belongs to Krishna. To enjoy or using these senses and your body for your own selfish purposes, that's not humility. That's like a servant using the property of master. Is that humility? It's crazy. If your servant sleeps on your bed, how will you feel? He's just sleeping on your bed. What will happen to you? You just come one day and he's sleeping on your bed and he says, Ma, how are you? It's crazy. So that's what we are doing, by the way. It's all property of God and we are just using for our own things, grossly or subtly. That's not humility. So giving up sense gratification, that is humility. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kamesha krodesha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapma viddhena meva vairinam. Krishna says, first of all, Arjun, I am going to give you the knowledge of spirituality, but first of all, curb the greatest enemy of soul, that is lust. Lust means sense gratification. First of all, curb this enemy. Otherwise, you'll not understand any damn thing what I'm going to speak. So first, stop sense gratification, because sense gratification is enemy of humility. Sense gratification means you're not humble. That's all. And if you're not humble, God will not open His secrets to you. He will not open His secrets. He will not reveal His secrets to you. You can read books and you can have knowledge, but it will not change into realizations. So that is why all scriptures, they say, leave sense gratification. Vishaya chhadiya se rase majiya, mukhe bolo hari hari. Leave sense gratification. And when you leave sense gratification, then the door of kingdom of God is open to you. Then the secrets of holy name gets revealed. Because in the eyes of God, leaving sense gratification is humility. It's true humility. So that's another pisu nichena. 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗃𝗃. Krishna says, be tolerant, just like a tree. That we all know. I mean, to say tolerant like a tree means what? So Mahaprabhu says, if you cut a tree, it will not protest. When the tree starts drying, it will not ask for water. So like that. So Mahaprabhu is saying, be tolerant. When you live in the community of devotees, you have to be tolerant. Somebody will speak something, but don't protest. People might blame you, devotees might speak something against you. Don't protest, just like a tree. If nobody gives you any attention, don't protest. That's how, that is what is 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗃𝗃. So there's a question there. Is it all or none law for sense gratification? I mean to say, the question is humility? Yes, sense gratification. If you're doing sense gratification, then you're not humble. If you are not doing sense gratification, then you're humble. So is it 1 and 0, all and 1? Well, it's a paradigm. The lesser sense gratification you do, the more humbler you are. That's how it goes. Otherwise, I mean to say, we can't just leave sense gratification in one day. But the point is, it can be all and one law, one rule. Right from the first day, you can have a desire to leave sense gratification. Krishna sees a desire. Krishna doesn't see whether you have left sense gratification or not, because we have got habits. But He sees right inside our soul, and He sees whether He wants to leave it or not. And right at the time of when we begin a spiritual life, we have this sankalpa, we take a vow, I will leave sense gratification. We might not be able to do that, but if we have this conviction and if we don't change this conviction, I will never leave sense gratification. Asankalpa jayet kamam. If we don't leave this sense gratification, if we don't leave this desire to do sense gratification, sorry, I just this. Yeah, if we don't leave the desire not to do sense gratification, if we maintain this desire, I want to leave sense gratification, then in the eyes of God we are humble, even though we are not able to leave sense gratification. That's why Krishna says, apichet suduracharo bhajte mamananyabhak sadhureva samantabhya samyak vyavasthita. So Krishna says, even if my devotee does an abominable activity, ananya bhak, if he has this desire to leave these nonsense activities, if that desire is continuous, and I can see in his heart there is a continuous desire, he's struggling, but he can't, but he wants to, then Krishna says he's sadhu in my eyes. So in that sense, it is all an unlaw. So that's the answer. So yeah, 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗃𝗃, tolerant. We should be tolerant about criticism and blasphemy of devotees, just like a tree. You see, tree. There is a philosopher. He has written a book on tree. It's this thick book. I meant to say there are like 400 pages just on tree. You can imagine, just on tree. So and he's writing. I mean to say, he's glorifying tree. He's saying the wood of the tree, after it dies, it's used to make benches, to make houses, to make tables. The root of tree is used to make medicines, the leaves are used to make medicines. Even while living it is useful, even after dead it is useful. Only a tolerant person can be useful to others. So Krishna is saying, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, be useful to others. Use your life to help others spiritually. That is a mark of tolerance. If you are truly tolerant, you will accept all blasphemy, you will accept all criticisms, but you will keep on benefiting the other person. That is tolerance. So, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 amanena mandena, giving respect to others and not expecting respect from others. These are 4 virtues, 4 qualities which we should have, which is certain areas can be desired to attain more tolerance to. So actually there's a question. Tolerance can be a tricky area. Can we desire to have more tolerance to? Can you specify the question? I can't really get this question properly. Can we have more tolerance to? I can't.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hare Krishna. I live in quite a poor area, and there's a lot of troubled people around, and they're quite angry. They have, they're in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance, and sometimes you come across these jivas who are struggling, and they might take it out on you. So sometimes that tolerance can be difficult in that way.
Oh, okay.
We can desire better qualities. Can we desire to be more tolerant too?
Okay, I understand your question. The whole point is, when you're dealing with material world, you have to be tolerant. But of course, Prabhupada says, when you're dealing with material world, do the needful. Because material world will not respond to your tolerance. They have their own rules. And sometimes when you're tolerant, in the eyes of materialistic people, we are foolish. So Prabhupada says, so that's why Prabhupada says, with material world, do the needful. Don't just be tolerant. You in general, we are tolerant, but whatever needs to be done, please do there. Tolerance, when we're talking about, we're talking in the community of devotees. Community of devotees.
Thank you,
yeah, so like that. So that is 4 qualities which Chaitanya is saying. So that is quantity of chanting. If we can develop this proper attitude within community of devotees, a way of life, then our quantity of chanting will increase. So increasing quantity of chanting is not a mechanical process that you will keep on practicing 16, 17, 18, 19, keep on doing and then you will increase your chanting. That will never happen. Because that's artificial. Mahaprabhu always said, be spontaneous whatever you're doing. Otherwise, you will again come back. Of course, initially you have to put some effort. But then if you have to go from one platform to another, then you have to be spontaneously doing that. Otherwise, it will put stress and strain or you will not be able to do it. So in a pure heart, in a pure life, chanting is very easy to do. In fact, when you develop these 4 qualities, then you will not chant. Rather, chanting will force you to chant. When you develop these qualities, you will not be chanting, but holy name will be dancing on your tongue. That's what Jagdanand Pandit he says. Because holy name will enter your heart. So now, when our lives are impure, when we don't have this proper attitude and way of living, our mental setup is really not really in tune with all these 4 virtues, then we are trying to invite holy name and chant. But when we have proper attitude, holy name will itself enter our tongue and heart and ears and will force us to chant. Prem nache, jeev nache, 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 nache naam. Prem Vivar Jagdanand Pandit writes. So then it becomes easy. Okay, so now after this we go to 4th verse and 5th verse. Now these are very important verses, by the way. 4th and 5th verse, these verses are are helping us to understand, to actually you see, before I go to 4th and 5th verse, the whole point is, okay, we can increase the quantity of chanting, but then we all have 24 hours. And we all have to sleep for 6-7 hours. And for 6-7 hours we have to eat, and we have to take bath and do whatever bodily activities, and then we have to do chit chat. So we have a limited time there. Anyway, so before I proceed, there's one question: what is the 3rd and 4th quality? 3rd and 4th qualities. 3rd quality is to give respect to others. To not to expect any respect for others, amani. And 4th quality is to give respect to everybody. That's 3rd and 4th quality. So we all, I was talking that we all have restricted time, and there's 24 hours for you, for me, for Prabhupada, for Bhaktisiddhanta, everybody. So what to do? So you can cut your sleeping and eating, but that's very difficult. That's not even healthy. To what extent you will cut? So the point is, you can increase, if you can't increase quantity, you can increase quality of chanting. How to increase quality of chanting? This is 4th and 5th verse of Siksastakam. And here comes the concept of prayers. By prayers you can increase quality of chanting. That's the secret. So I was talking, Siksastakam was talking about chanting, prayers and service. So now we come to the topic of prayers in the quality of chanting. So chant prayers, that's very important. People who don't pray, they are not in contact with God. Devotees who don't pray every moment, every second, from within their soul, their chanting is not heard by God, as Bhaktivedanta Thakur says. So that quality of chanting has to be there. Otherwise it will not reach the ears of God. Or it might reach, but it will not give him pleasure. So, and of course, devotion is all about giving pleasure to Krishna. And that's why all traditions have really emphasized on prayers and prayers and prayers and prayers. All traditions. All theistic traditions, by the way. Especially. So, the 4th verse is talking about prayers. And what's that 4th verse? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, 𝗙𝗿 𝗪𝗀𝗃𝗀 mama janmani janmaneshware bhaptat bhaktir 𝗙𝗨𝗃𝗍𝗄. So the 4th verse is Mahaprabhu is praying, I don't want riches, I don't want women, I don't want name, fame, prestige, people. I just want one thing, birth after birth, is the service of the lotus. That's what I want. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 4th verse, he is teaching us what is a central portion of prayer. What is a core part of prayers? Any prayers, in other words, must have this thing to be called as prayer. Otherwise it's not prayer. It's simply making some sound through a vocal box. That's all. Or imagining some kind of concept. Otherwise it's imagination. So what makes a prayer a prayer? That's the whole point this verse is talking about. What Chaitanya Prabhu is saying, Mama janmane janeshwari bhaptat bhaktir 𝗙𝗪𝗃𝗀. He's praying, oh my Lord, I don't want anything. Krishna says, what do you want? I want devotion to your lotus feet birth after birth. I want service to your lotus feet birth after birth. In other words, Chaitanya Prabhu is saying, you must pray for God's sake. That's all. You must pray for God. You must not pray for yourself. You must pray for His sake. You must pray so that His will is fulfilled and not your will is fulfilled. That makes prayer a prayer. Otherwise it's sense gratification. It's simply an imagination. It's simply shouting in a lonely place. Nobody will hear you. That's all. So that makes prayer a prayer. Prayer for God's sake. For example, Madhvacharya says, when a devotee prays, "Oh my Lord, please pick me up. Please save me from falling down." What he prays? Madhvacharya says a devotee adds there, "Please save me from fall down," in a way which gives you pleasure. That's very important. I am falling down because of my bad habits. Please save me, but in a way which gives you pleasure. So, in other words, what I am saying is, if you want to save me, you save me. If you don't want to save me, that's okay. But if you want to save me, you save me. But you save me in a way which gives you pleasure. Saving me might not give pleasure to me. I might feel, falling down was much better rather than Krishna saving me, because it is more painful. I want to say it is better to, leave temple and go home and sit nicely. I fell down. At least there was comfort in that. But when Krishna is trying to save you, he will keep you in temple in the midst of all difficulties, and you might say, "This is madness. I'm going mad." It is more painful. But Madhva says, no. If it gives you pleasure, that's okay. That's my prayer. And if you find pleasure in not saving me, that let your will be fulfilled. That's the prayer for His sake. Krishna, you be happy. It doesn't matter whether I fall down or I don't fall down. What matters is that you are happy. So that is a prayer for God's sake. That makes prayer a prayer. And then the quality of your chanting. Prabhupada says chanting is the best prayer. So then chanting is the best glorification. Then your chanting will be, you have to chant for His sake. And you have to chant for Him. Of course, the one question is that complete surrender? No, that's not complete surrender. That's the beginning of surrender. By the way, that's the beginning of true surrender. So, the whole point is, be selfless. Don't be selfish. Nothing should be done for oneself. But anyway, so I'll talk about the selfless concept a little later. But the whole point here is, one question is anyway, yeah. So, but this is not complete surrender. The whole point is, these prayers, who desire to pray an important component of prayer, is he not happy? Is he not happy? I couldn't read properly. What's say? Can you ping that again? Is he not happy? I can't read it fully. Is he not happy when we ask for something spiritual? Who desire to pray an important component of prayer? Yeah, I mean to say, if you pray without the desire to pray, then that's a mechanical thing. First of all, we should have a desire to pray. Otherwise, what's the point to pray, first of all? If that is very mechanical thing. So there is, the whole point is the whole point is a prayer without desire to prayer is like we are saying, Krishna, help me, but then we don't want help. We are not open enough free will. To have a desire to pray means, Krishna, I'm giving a way to you in my free will to manipulate me. You manipulate me. That's a desire to pray. If we don't have a desire to pray, and if we are simply praying mechanically, oh Krishna, help me, and Krishna will say, oh, okay. Your prayers are in your lips, but not in your heart. You're saying help me, but you don't want my help. You don't want me to interfere in your free will. Well, I can't help you because I can't change your free will if you don't want it. That's an eternal law. So prayer without desire to pray is practically useless. That is why, so that is why desire to pray should be there. That's very important. And there, of course, there are so many subtopics in this. We can discuss later. But the whole point is, this prayers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Mama Janmani Janmaneshwari Bhaktat Bhakti Rahitu Kitwai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying there, so I'll come to that point later. But the question here is, do we want to be in birth and death? Mama Janmani Janmaneshwari. This is the prayer. Mama Janmani Janmaneshwari. Okay. Birth after birth, I want your service. So do we want really to be in birth and death? Don't we want release from birth and death? Are we not praying for release from birth and death? Are we not praying? I mean to say, Prabhupada's Prabhupada magazine is based on back to Godhead. Prabhupada's theme of his books is get free of birth, or cycle of birth and death and these old age. But here Mahaprabhu is saying, oh my Lord, give me, let me be in birth and death. I want to serve you birth after birth. So what's happening? The question is, do we want release from birth and death, or don't we want? If you read Chaitanya Siksastakam, Mahaprabhu is saying, I don't want. And if you read Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada says, I want release from birth and death. So what's happening? The answer to this question is, the whole point is, do we pray for release from birth and death, or don't we pray from release from birth and death? Mahaprabhu is not praying, but what about Srila Prabhupada? Prabhupada says, well, we should desire to get free from birth and death, and if you desire to get free from birth and death, then why not pray as well? But anyway, but here is a point. The first point is, Prabhupada says that you should get free from birth and death, but Prabhupada never said that we should pray to get free from birth and death. He never said that, and devotee doesn't do that. Now on this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Madhvacharya both explain that we all want to get free from birth and death. But the trick to do that is, don't pray to get free from birth and death. That's a trick. Because if you pray to get released from birth and death, then you will not be released from birth and death, because that will be selfish. I mean to say, okay, you might say, I want to get released from birth and death to serve Krishna. But still it's selfish, because Krishna doesn't want you to get released from birth and death and wants to engage you in his service within birth and death, then what? So that's your own assumption and own presumption, let me say. So that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur Madhvacharya says, the best way to get released from birth and death is don't pray to Krishna for release from birth and death. And if you don't pray to him, if you pray like this, Krishna, let me be in birth and death again and again, let me serve you again and again, you will be the first person to get free from birth and death. Because then Krishna will be so pleased. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, devotee is very intelligent. Yagya sankirna praya rajantihi musumedasa. So that's why although in philosophical literatures you will find that the aim of life is to get released from birth and death in Upanishads, but in devotional literatures you will not find this concept, because in prayers devotees do not pray like that. Although they understand that they will get released from birth and death once Krishna is pleased automatically. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, why to unnecessarily waste a prayer by praying Krishna release from birth and death? Why to ask two favors? We don't want to ask any service and favor from Lord. Why to ask two favors? Ask just one, and the second is fulfilled. That's intelligence. And second answer can be, why Mahaprabhu is asking, let me be in birth and death, birth after birth, and serve you? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows that Krishna, the aim and object of devotion and any prayer is to please God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows that Krishna will be well pleased when we continue our devotion in difficulties. In spite of all difficulties, if we continue our devotion, he will be well pleased. In fact, difficulties are opportunities to please him. If you're chanting 16 rounds and you're free and you don't have any problems and you're chanting 16 rounds, okay, Krishna is happy. But if you have so many duties to do and you have so many problems, still nevertheless you are finding time to sit when you're 16 rounds. From whom Krishna is more pleased? Second person, he gets more credit. So that's why That is why you see people who are chanting 64 rounds sitting in Vrindavan doing nothing, and people who are chanting 16 rounds while preaching. Whom Krishna is more pleased? Krishna is more pleased with 16 rounds than 64 rounds or 108 rounds or 150 rounds in Vrindavan, sitting there. That was Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta, because he said that Krishna gives more credit to such a person because he is chanting in spite of all difficulties, which in fact he is taking for Krishna, not for himself. And there it is free. Anybody can chant there. So Mahaprabhu says, my Lord, I want difficulties to pray for that, to pray that I want birth after birth. That means I want difficulties, because I am ready to remain in difficulties, because those difficulties are opportunities to please you. That's intelligence. 𝗙𝗂𝗪 𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗪 𝗪𝗲𝗪. That's two answers. That is the quality of prayers, quality of chanting. Prayers. This is how when we pray like this, then our quality of chanting really increases. And the fifth verse is 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 It's a beautiful verse, by the way, 5th verse. It's also talking about prayers, but from a slight different angle. The 4th verse is talking prayers from the perspective of service and from the perspective of the devotee. But the 5th verse is talking about prayers from the perspective of God and not from the point of view of devotee. Now, what I mean by that is, there are 4 levels of prayers. The first level of prayer is, you're praying for yourself. Oh my Lord, please make me pure. Please make me pure, and please cleanse my heart, and like that, and this. You're praying for yourself. That's the first level of prayer, where we start. But the question is, why do you want to become pure? That's a question. So then you go to the next level of prayers, that is, you're praying for God. I want to become pure so that I can serve you. You're praying for Him. The first level, there's selfishness. If you're simply praying, please make me pure, I'm frustrated because of lust, anger, greed, I want to become pure. Okay, that's good, but why want to become pure? To serve. So we are actually praying not for ourselves, but we are praying for God, so that I can increase your service. It's not my mission. It's not for my personal agenda. So the next level prayer is you're praying for God. Now these 2 levels we understand very nicely. But the next 2 levels, that's almost impossible to understand without mercy of God, which is there in this verse. This verse is trying to take us to the next level. The first 2 levels are in the previous verse, but the next 2 levels are in this verse. The next level is you're praying for God's sake. You're praying for not just for God, but God's sake. The whole idea is you're praying to God. You're not praying that you purify me and engage me in a service. You're praying, oh my Lord, let your will be fulfilled. I pray that. I might become pure or not become pure, it doesn't matter. Let your mission be fulfilled. That's my prayer. If you want to use me, well and good. If you don't want to use me, no problem. If you want to dump me in a black hole, that's okay. But I pray that your mission, your thoughts, your desires be fulfilled. That's for God's sake you're praying. And even higher level than that is, you're praying again for yourself. Now you're praying for yourself because of separation. Now you feel so much separation, and now you're praying to God. Oh my Lord, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitamma 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗋 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗔. Oh my God, please place me as a dust on your lotus feet. Why you're praying? Because you now know that Krishna becomes sad without you. Without his part and parcels, he's sad. Our sadness doesn't count much. When you're praying for God's sake, then you're feeling sad. You are feeling separation from God. You're okay, fine. Krishna, your glory and your mission should be fulfilled. But at this level, when you are again praying for yourself, please save me. Mahaprabhu is saying, please save me from this material world. Why is praying? Is it a selfish prayer? No. It seems like a selfish prayer. Please save me and place me at your dust, lotus feet. It's okay, it's for service of God, but then it's again for oneself. No, it's completely from the point of view of God. Mahaprabhu knows that Krishna is feeling unhappy without his part and parcels. That is why he's praying, please place me at dust of your lotus feet, so that your sadness is relieved. To relieve separation of Krishna from us, to relieve sadness of Krishna from us. I told that devotion is, the key is the sadness. So we have to nourish our sadness, but now the level of devotee is experiencing the sadness of God without us. And then this prayer makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, this prayer is completely, it is mixed with selfishness. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram. I mean to say, we also pray like that. Oh my Lord, we have fallen in the material ocean of birth and death. Please save us. Yeah. So we can pray like that. But Mahaprabhu is also praying like that. So there has to be some difference. Am I right? The difference is we are praying for ourselves, but Mahaprabhu is saying praying for God. So the first level begins with praying for oneself. The last level is also praying for oneself. But there's a very much difference. The first prayer is tinged with selfishness from our point of view. But the last level for oneself, praying for oneself, is from the God's point of view. And that's why Mahaprabhu uses I. I is what we say, it's an interjection. I is a word indicating extreme distress. Distress of whom? Of Ainanda Tanuja, of Krishna. Of Krishna. He is feeling. Ainanda Tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame. I am your servant, my Lord. You are my master. If you are my master, you might be feeling so unhappy. Seeing your unhappiness, I am unhappy. So therefore, 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗀 𝗪𝗏, you place me at the dust, make me the dust of your lotus feet. That is a prayer. So this fifth verse is helping us to go to a different level of prayer and helping us to go from the level of us to Him. That the first two levels are in fourth verse, next two levels are in fifth verse. Fifth verse is talking about how to pray with. Fifth verse is trying to bring feelings and a proper perspective in prayers. And that's the fifth verse all about. And so you see the point. This fourth and fifth verse are trying to help us develop a proper attitude so that our quality of prayer increases. Trying to bring proper feelings, proper emotions, so that our quality of prayer increases, so that Krishna becomes happy. And then we advance, of course. If he becomes happy, our soul becomes happy. 𝗪𝗂𝗪 suprasidati, and we advance nicely. So, by the way, Lord Chaitanya is not praying in this verse. He's not praying, please, Lord, place me as a dust of the lotus feet. He's exactly not praying. If you look in this verse properly, he is praying, my Lord, please don't reject me. That's the feeling there. Please don't reject me. The feeling is, and that's why if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Siksastakam, Krishna Consciousness Swami says when Mahaprabhu is reciting this verse, he's feeling fear in his heart. Bhai. There is shok, there is danya, there is bhai. So when you pray, you should have these emotions. You should have sadness, you should have humility, you should have fear. So this verse is talking what emotions should we have while praying. Such beautiful Siksastakam. What is a component of what should we pray? What is a desire of praying? What are the emotions we should have, accompanying emotions? We should have lamentation, which we began Siksastakam. We should have humility. We should have fear of rejection. That is why he's saying I means I am so sad, my Lord, and I'm very fearful. I is interjection, which is just like in English we use oh my Lord. It's a surprise. Oh means surprise. Or we say alas, it means sadness. Or we mean these are called these are technical called interjections. So there's I in Sanskrit, which means sadness and fear. So he's saying, please place me. He's saying, please place me as a dust of a lotus feet. Why is praying? Why is not praying, please place me at a lotus feet? There are many answers for that. Of course, he wants to become servant of servant. But one way to look at it is that he's praying, somehow make me a dust of a dust or dust of a dust. The whole idea is don't reject me. So prayer without fear of rejection is not a good prayer. A prayer without a fear of rejection is not really pleasing to the Lord. So that's how Mahaprabhu teaches us how to pray, the quality of prayers. So that's about prayers. And then 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗃, please make me. There are so many points in Siksastakam. I don't know where to begin, where to stop. But I mean to say, I don't want to add more points here and there, because otherwise I lose you will lose a theme. I'm trying to make a theme of how on chanting and Siksastakam together, because that's the real theme, that's the real intention of writing Siksastakam. And here is a section of prayers which will improve quality of chanting. And then there are many other points there. But of course, I'm not touching. Maybe if I give Siksastakam seminar someday other, I would like to present Siksastakam from a very different point of view, because there are so many perspectives for Siksastakam. But now we go to the 6th verse. Nayanam galada shrudharaya. Now 4th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, it makes abhidhay. 6th, 7th, 8th, it is prayojanam, goal of chanting. So the whole point is, what is the result of chanting? Now, somebody may ask, you may be chanting for so much time, what is the result? How do you know that you are advancing or not while chanting? That's the whole question. Okay, I'm chanting for 20 years, Prabhu. So, are you advancing? Yeah, well, I might be advancing. It seems like that, because I've become senior and I feel good, I feel peaceful, so I'm advancing. No, my dear sir, that's not really correct. Peace and feeling good are not necessarily a sign of advancement. So what is the result of chanting? That's 6th verse and 7th verse. So 6th verse is answering the goal of chanting. Okay, what do you want? The short-term goal, the short-term result. What is the result of chanting, or what is the goal of chanting? It's the same thing. What's the goal of chanting, or result of chanting? So what we are looking for in chanting to know whether we are advancing or not. What we are looking for, it is Nayanam galadu shrudharaya padnam gadgada rudhyagira kripyat. Nayanam galadu shrudharaya padnam gadgada rudhyagira pulkar nichitam vapugada tavanama grahane bhavishyati. Mahaprabhu says, when will be in tears in my eyes, and hairs will start standing on end, when that day will come. The whole idea here is the result of chanting. The short-term goal of chanting, what we are looking for, is remembrance of God. Shranamam Kirtanam Smaranam. While chanting, you get remembrance of God, remembering His qualities, pastimes, and form. Then this means you're advancing. Simply happiness and peace, that's not real symptom of advancement. That can be dicey. So, but the question is, how do we know that remembrance is true remembrance? It can be imagination. Many devotees says we chant and then we remember His form and nice flute and this and that. That can be false remembrance. That can be imagination. So Mahaprabhu says here, Nayanam galada shrudharaya. When will be there tears in my eyes, hair standing on my end? That means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is experiencing tears in eyes. When does anybody weep? When he is sad, when he is feeling dissatisfaction. So now that sadness, when you mature that sadness, slowly it matures and matures by chanting. If you focus on that sadness, if you understand sadness is a key to chanting better, then the sadness now will change into dissatisfaction. So while chanting, we will experience satisfaction and dissatisfaction both. Dissatisfaction of not putting our best. Am I right? That's one thing. Dissatisfaction and sorrow of not coming in contact with such a nice person. If you start remembering God in chanting, if you start remembering His pastimes, qualities, what will happen is you will feel happy, you will feel enthusiastic, but normal response to that is sadness. That's such a nice person, Krishna. I'm missing you. That's the whole point there. This is the first glimpse of separation which a devotee feels. I'm missing you. And that's why devotee feels dissatisfaction, anxiety. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Consciousness Swami writes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is feeling anxiety here and dissatisfaction. And that anxiety and dissatisfaction is born of remembrance of God. Just like a mother remembers his child, and so the mother is in India and child is in America, what happens? She remembers a child, his naughty pranks, his everything, and she is very happy, but then immediately she becomes sad because he's away. That's the whole point there. So he becomes sad. That is dissatisfaction. That is called spiritual anxiety in Prabhupada's word. That, oh my Lord, I'm away. I can't even serve you properly. And this and that. And that sadness and dissatisfaction and satisfaction both, but dissatisfaction we are focusing, is expressed by these symptoms of tears in eyes, horripilation of hairs, all these symptoms. That's why this sixth verse, the result of chanting is remembrance of God. Sixth verse is talking, which is expressed by dissatisfaction, which is expressed externally by the symptoms of bhava. Remembrance, that's how you judge. And seventh verse is talking about the second result of chanting, that is love. Now we are there, love and separation. Love and separation. It's not just now.
Last pandemic, which wasn't connected to lifestyle choices.
What's that? I just. So love. So seventh verse is talking about love, love and separation, and how do we know that love is true love? That's the whole idea. How do you know that love is true love? We might be feeling hallucination, or we might be just feeling some imagination. We can imagine, we're in love of God. But then, how do we feel that is true love? Well, here it says, Yugayatam nimishena chakshusha pravashayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam. Seventh verse, Yugayatam. One moment will be like 12 years. That is love and separation, of course. But then shunyayitam jagat sarvam. Shunyayitam jagat sarvam means there is absence of all material desires. That is how you know that is true love and separation. So the second result of chanting is absence of material desire. Shunyayitam, the whole word appears shunya, zero. There is nothing interesting in this material world. It appears boring. That is the symptom of good chanting. So how do you know that your chanting is good? What is the result of chanting you're looking at? You're not looking at peace, you're not looking at happiness. Of course, that will come. But don't think if you're peaceful and happy, you're advancing. That's not necessarily true. The true advancement of chanting, result of chanting, is remembrance of God while chanting and absence of material desires. These are these two verses, 6th and 7th. which are expressed externally by these symptoms of bhava. And then the 8th verse, the classical verse, 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗲 पादरतं पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मर्मतां करोतु वा ततथा वा 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗲𝗀 मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स This verse is talking about the nature of love. And of course, when you talk about chanting, it is talking about attitude while chanting. Now we talked about emotions. What emotions should we have while chanting? We talked about what kind of prayers we should do. We also talked about, now we're talking about attitude while chanting. What is a philosophical attitude while chanting we should have? Now, if we don't have this philosophical attitude, if this philosophical conclusions are not clear to us, which is in 8th verse, then we'll never be able to chant properly. Our mind will be disturbed. So, of course, we also talked about attitude while living a life, the way of life. This is attitude while chanting. So, what is attitude while chanting? This, by attitude I means, in these philosophical points should be absolutely clear. Otherwise, you'll not be able to chant properly. There will be subconscious offenses against holy name. So, what is this? 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗲 पादरतं पिनष्टु माम्. Caitanya Prabhu is saying, oh my Lord, you deal me how matter you want. You reject me, you accept me. It doesn't matter. You will still be my master life after life. That is autocrat. The first point we should be clear: Krishna is independent and autocrat. He can do anything he wants. He can do anything he wants. It should be clear. He is free to do anything, and we should allow him to do anything with us. That's the point in 8th verse. You should open yourself, open your free will, and give it to him. My dear Lord, manipulate me. That's what Prabhupada prayed when he went on that Jaladut. Make me dance like a puppet. He prayed like that. That means he's saying interfere in our free will. If without this attitude we chant, while chanting what we are saying, while chanting we are saying engage me in your service. That means, in other words, we are saying, Krishna, you're free to engage me in your service in whatever way you like. We are free. You can manipulate us. We are open to you. We will not resist. That's the whole point there. We are not going to resist. That means the concept of independence. Then you will enter chanting properly if this attitude is there. Second point is selflessness. Where I told you we should be selfless. 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗲𝗀 पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मर्मतां करोतु वा. Would it be an offense if we meditate on the bhava of these verses? No, it will not be offense. You can meditate on the bhava of these verses while chanting. And in fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur recommends that. And anyway, you can ask. I'll just finish this. So selflessness, you should be completely selfless. That is in the 4th line. 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗲𝗀 पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मर्मतां करोतु वा ततथा वा मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स Oh my Lord, there is no other master except you. Now this is complete self. Even if you reject me, you're still my master. This is a selfless service. Am I right? Who wants to serve anybody without getting anything? This is selfless service. In fact, this verse is holding the key to us, the spirit to serve. That's what I was talking. This Siksastakam is talking about how to chant, how to pray, and how to serve. What is a spirit of serving Lord? The spirit is this. 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗲𝗀 पिनष्टु माम्. Devotee saying, oh my Lord, you पिनष्टु माम्. पिनष्टु माम् means you put difficulties in my life. You give me sufferings. Pinashtu means to kick. Even if you give me sufferings, I will keep on serving you. Even if you keep me sufferings, even if you reject me, I'll keep on serving you. Oh, Krishna says, okay, that's very nice. I'm very happy with you. But then Krishna says, if I start neglecting you, then what? Okay, So I'll not give you sufferings, but I'll not give you happiness. I'll neglect you. Simply, I'll not deal with you. No happiness, no distress. Then Chaitanya Prabhu says, 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀 finished adarshanam marmatam 𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗀. Even if you reject me, still I'll keep on serving you. Krishna says, I'll reject you. That's all. Still, devotee says, I'll keep on serving you. But then Krishna says, okay, I'm happy, that's okay. And then Krishna says, okay, no problem. I'll not even neglect you. I'll not even reject you. I will send you to hell. Will you serve me now? Will you serve me? Now, what's your answer? Mahaprabhu says, 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗪. Oh my Lord, you're Lampert, you can do anything with me. Still I'll keep on serving. If in exchange of service, if you send me to hell, no problem, I don't mind. I'll still keep on serving you. Still you are my master. And this then shows ultimate submission and surrender to Supreme Personality of Godhead. If this kind of spirit is there while serving, complete selfless service, this spirit, if this kind of spirit is there behind the law, behind the rules, behind the chanting, behind prayers, behind your service, this kind of attitude is there behind chanting, then how Krishna will not be pleased? But of course, this kind of spirit comes after a lifetime of practice. And Krishna will even test you. Okay, you are speaking. Even if you give me sufferings, I'll serve you. Krishna might give you sufferings. Okay, let me test you. Let's see whether you are speaking, you're joking, you are what you're doing, whether you're speaking truly or not. Even if you reject me, I will still serve. Krishna might reject you. Krishna will not respond with you. And then Krishna might actually play tricks on you, and still you keep on serving. So he might test you by doing all these things. But still, if you keep on serving, then you are a true devotee. And and that's why it is said. So when you pray, it is said, prayer is not words, prayer is action. So many saints, they have said. Prabhupada also said, not exactly this point, but the point is, prayer is not words, prayer is actions. Prayer is expressed by actions and not by words. True prayers. So this is a spirit of service. This spirit of service, when Krishna sees, he sees that you're praying every second to him. This is how you pray every second, through your actions. You can pray sometimes through your words, but if you want to pray every second, you pray through your actions. And then the words automatically, spontaneously arise. They spontaneously are expressed. So the prayer by words is, the foundation of prayer by words is prayer by actions. From that platform of prayer by actions, a born prayer, the prayer through words. That's how this 8th verse is there. So this is all about Siksastakam. Not all about Siksastakam, of course. The Siksastakam is infinite, boundless. But we have touched one angle of Siksastakam, where I have connected chanting with Siksastakam, prayers and spirit of service, and of course the emotions and feelings. What a devotee, what a normal response should be there. Emotion and feelings when you approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So anyway, thank you very much. I think it's 6:40. I like to end here. If anybody has any questions, because session is till 7:30, and after offering the prayer, what should our consciousness be? After offering the prayer, what our consciousness should be? After offering the prayers, I told you, the whole point of devotion is to focus on sadness. That's a key. And that's what Mahaprabhu says. After offering the prayers, Mahaprabhu is more sad. If you read Chaitanya Siksastakam, in fact, Siksastakam ends Ante Leela 20th chapter 65th verse. It is Krishna Consciousness Swami says, Prabhura Siksastak Shlok 𝗙𝗪𝗀 Shune Krishna Prem Bhakti 𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗀 Dene. Anybody who hears Siksastakam daily, his bhakti will increase day by day by day. After you offer prayers, you become more sad. Why? Because you start thinking whether my prayers are being accepted by Krishna or not, whether they are heard or not. Most likely it will not be heard by him because I am so sinful. So you become sad, and then you pray again, and you keep on praying until it is heard, until he hears your prayers. So your sadness keeps on increasing, and that sadness will make Krishna very happy, because that sadness will help us, will actually help us to pray more and more and more and more. That's the whole idea. Why do we do this? Krishna has answered through you. Okay. So like that, that's the whole idea. Yeah. To have the thought of prayers being heard, is this selfish? To have a thought of prayers being heard, is this selfish? To have a thought of prayers being heard, is this selfish? Well, if you have a thought that my prayers are heard, should you even have expectation of desire or reciprocation? Okay, I'll just answer this question. First, is a thought of prayers being heard is selfish? Well, our whole Gaudiya tradition, can we just let me answer one question, then you ask another question, because there's so many questions. I'm getting confused. So yeah, first I'm answering this question. Is a thought of prayers being heard is selfish? Okay, the thought of prayers being heard is selfish. Our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, if you see, all acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur, Mahaprabhu, all acharyas are weeping and making this very point. My Lord, I don't know whether you are hearing my prayers or not. In fact, that is Siksastakam. 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀 𝗪𝗲𝗀. Mahaprabhu is feeling really anxious whether Krishna is really accepting me, rejecting me. That's why the last verse is, whether you accept me, reject me, you're still my master. I don't know whether you're hearing me or not hearing me. Most likely, my prayers are not reaching you. And that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is again and again singing, Mama nevedana sino vishay durjana. Now, nobody in the song they are saying that my prayers are being heard by him. So, our whole mood is, we are in an eternal confusion whether our prayers are being heard or not. That's the sentiment of a Gaudiya Vaishnava. And that is what Krishna likes. That is humbleness. But if we think our prayers are heard, then that is selfish. I mean, to say in one sense, because we think that we are in contact with God now, and we have made it now. Now that kind of thought is not a good thought in one sense, because it destroys humility. It destroys. Of course, in a devotee's life, when we pray, Krishna gives many signs where we have prayed and that thing happens. It happens, and we can see our prayers being heard, and Krishna has done that. But in that, so when we see that our prayers, we made prayers and that thing is accomplished, if that happens, then the devotee becomes happy. Of course, he becomes happy also that Krishna heard, but he becomes more sad that, oh my Lord, I took some service from you. I made you my servant and I took some service by praying like that. But having a thought that we are being heard increases faith. Yeah, having a thought we are being heard increases faith. That's okay. But having a thought that our prayers are not heard increases our love for him. Now, I mean to say, depends where we are. If we think, of course, if we have a thought that our prayers being heard increases our faith, but then it is not really nurtures our love, especially love in separation, where we want to reach. Our goal, now we have to see our goal, and then we have to go forward. If it increases faith, okay, but then we have to advance to much higher levels where we don't really where we don't really need to increase our faith. Now we are working on love, and love automatically includes faith. Now so when a devotee thinks whether my prayer is heard or not, in that condition also it increases faith. Why not? If our prayers are not heard, we are confused, why our faith should decrease? Our faith should increase. Well, I made a prayer. Krishna is so nice that he's independent. He might hear, he might not hear. He is my master. He is an independent master. And I have surrendered to such a master who is independent, who is in control of nobody. So our faith increases more. Of course, you're right. Practically, sometimes when we think our prayers are being heard, our faith increases. But then it might be dangerous also, because if we think our prayers are being heard, then it might lead to a very egoistic platform that my prayers are heard. And when acharyas are saying, oh my Lord, I mean to say here, acharya is saying, 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗶𝗃. When will that day come when tears will be there in my eyes? When will that day come when I will serve you? All acharyas are thinking that when will that day come when I will come in contact with you? So in that sense, it depends. If we want to nurture our love or if we want to nurture our faith, it depends on that. So, I mean to say, it's a very thin line, but it's good to culture our sentiments to reach love in separation. We have to remember the goal, otherwise we'll not reach our goal. And thought of prayers being heard can also lead to sentimental, I mean to say, it can also lead to sentimental devotion, that my prayers are being heard. Just like Sahajya says, oh my prayers are being heard from Krishna, he's hearing. Or like Srila Prabhupada says that many devotees says, I saw Krishna. Of course, that's a different kind of thing. That's why Prabhupada says that so many devotees are saying, Hey Radhe Vrajate Vike, when will I see you? So somebody can say, okay, seeing Krishna increases our faith, so why not see him? But devotee says, no, when will I see you? So is their faith decreasing by being in that confusion? When will I see you? No, their faith is increasing. So in that way, if we think according to Gaudiya Vaishnava perspective, then our faith increases more and more and more and more and more.
So this is Sundarandas.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Help me with the project prayer. But Anyabhilashita Shunyam, there is that Anyabhilashita, there is a component of exception there. That's why the suffix ita has been added.
Yeah.
Otherwise it would have been Anyabhilash. So is there any exception to this rule that we've just been talking about, the faith and the desire and having no expectation effectively?
Yeah, you're right. There is an exception there. You're right. Anyabhilashita, and all acharyas say that the only exception where a devotee can have a desire to pray from Lord and I mean to say really ask something is in the time of emergency, when he's out of his reflex. Am I right? At that time he spontaneously does that, and then he's not liable for selfishness. That's how he says, like acharyas.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice to be hearing from you. Anybody has any other question? There's so many questions and I just missed, and people were asking me. I just got it. I just missed. I don't know how to do that. Hare Krishna.
You can open in chat window, Prabhu.
How to do that?
You can click on more. There's an option there.
Okay, here.
There's 3 dots. You can see in the chat. Please.
There are so many people sitting, but then who is asking? How do I know who is asking?
The name is mentioned from the person who is asking.
If you click on chat at the bottom, it's got their names on.
Okay,
their names are.
So is somebody asking now or what?
They have written it down.
Okay, so
in the chat.
yeah, so you can ask me. I don't know how to do that. You can ask me the question. Go ahead. In the chat window.
If you want, I can speak the questions.
Yeah. Please speak the question and the name.
Okay. From Kelly. I asked that after 3 years of chanting Krishna is okay. I'll ask to have the thought of prayers being heard that is over.
Yeah.
And then should you even have the expectation or desire of reciprocation from Krishna? It's from Hima.
Should you have a desire for expectation of reciprocation from Krishna? Yes, we should have a desire for reciprocation from Krishna. Of course, we should have desire. I mean, to say all acharyas are desiring and yearning to have a reciprocation from Krishna. But that's just desire to have a reciprocation from Krishna. Whether it reciprocates or not, we don't know. But that desire should be there. But then one thing is that desire should not be for a selfish motive. That's, you see, at higher level, it's very dangerous to go at higher levels. That's why all acharyas says proceed step by step. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀𝗀. The Rupa Goswami says everything comes step by step. Otherwise, it can become chaotic conditions. So we have desire for expectation, but then that desire for reciprocation should be at higher levels, because at lower levels we are selfish. We are desiring for ourselves, for our own happiness, and then it can be a real problem there. So this desire for expectation comes in. So this expectation for reciprocation, this comes at higher level, at the level of 𝗙𝗪𝗪 prarthana. That's why Rupa Goswami divides prayers into three: some prarthnatmika, dhanamaya, and 𝗙𝗪𝗪. So this expectation for reciprocation, that comes in 𝗙𝗪𝗪. And Rupa Goswami says, until unless you approach the platform of asakti and bhava, don't do 𝗙𝗪𝗪 prayers. Don't have a desire for expectation for reciprocation. Simply submit yourself. Of course, we have a desire that Krishna will someday reciprocate with us. We are submitting our prayers. That's all. But we don't focus on that much. We focus now on humility and service. It all depends on focus. You see the point. Desire for reciprocation is always there. We are devotees. Am I right? We are devotees. But the whole point is, where is the focus? In sadhana stage, our focus is on service and all these virtues and what we were talking about. But in higher stages, we have focus on that desire for expectation of reciprocation from Krishna. So focus matters. That's the whole point. Yeah, any other question?
I read in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is Bhakti Vatsala.
Yeah.
I may not be a devotee, but at least if we pray with true heart, Krishna hears it. I have this faith, but not expecting him to reciprocate at the same time. Should we also include in our prayer that Krishna, if you so desire, with your sanction, whatever the outcome, we rely on him completely? I think that's covered there, I guess.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Any other question? I am more steady at chanting. What should I am more steady at chanting between midnight and 2 a.m., which I do daily, whilst during the day I tend to divert my mind many times. Is it normal? What should I do?
Come
From
on.
Sham,
I don't think so.
from Sham.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's normal if you chant in 12 to 2 o'clock in the night. It's better to chant in the morning time, isn't it? In the late night, it's all tamogun and we can't chant properly. It's good to go with nature, so that nature helps you. Our whole principle is anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. So nature wants to help you. Why not let her help us and assist us in serving Krishna? Let us be friends with everybody, am I right? Let us go together to Krishna. Don't start fighting with others. So Prakriti is a devotee. She's a Vaishnavi. So let us get in tune with her, and that's called discipline. Why we are being disciplined? So that we get in tune with nature. And God, Krishna has made this times, more goodness, ignorance, passion, goodness specifically for devotees. He actually he has. So what's that comment?
They say it's because my Guru Maharaj chants around this time online, so I follow his timing.
So then his time might be different in some different country, am I right? Then probably this devotee is sitting in some other country. And
there might be some
time zone difference. But then you have to be a little wise. That's good. I mean to say, if he's chanting in morning, you're chanting in night, that's not a good thing. The whole idea is to become a pure devotee and to advance. So it's good to chant at proper normal time. You record at that time and then chant with him later. That will be I think more appreciated by our Guru Maharaj. You can ask him. I think that will be more appreciated, because otherwise you will spoil your health also. One day you will spoil your health. That's a time for sleeping. The body has its own laws. Your machine, this machine will get spoiled. From 12 to 2 you should be sleeping according to Ayurveda. Specifically from 12 to 2. If you don't sleep, then you become unhealthy. That's the whole idea. Yeah. Okay, so what else? Otherwise,
other questions. Krishna hears it. I have this faith, but not experience. Should also remember that Krishna is to desire, and this I sometimes use the feelings I have experienced in life, such as missing my child. That's the last question there. That such as missing my child and feelings of yearning. So that should be applied to chanting.
Well, yeah. Just how you miss your child, similarly we miss Krishna. So Krishna, Krishna is purposefully arranged in this material world so that we all come together and are separated. So that we have this feel, what do we mean by separation? And so that we can understand, this is, if you multiply this separation million times, that separation is felt by Krishna for us. So that's okay.
Yes.
That's fine.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I think.
I wanted to ask you that how do we make our prayers more powerful, and also that when we have difficulties in praying, how do we overcome that? And finally, the components of prayer, having praise to the Lord, with gratitude to Him, and requesting forgiveness. Is that part of Siksastakam philosophy also?
Okay, so what's the first question? I just your first question was how to make your prayers
powerful.
Powerful.
Or in difficulty. How do we pray in difficulty?
Yeah. Okay. How do we pray in difficulty? That's a good question. How do we pray? I mean to say, the first point is preparation. Precaution is better than cure. If we are not prepared, then it will be very difficult to pray in difficulty. It's because when difficult times come, generally our survival reflex, it comes in, and we just completely forget praying, and we are just completely in ourselves. So that is why all saints in all traditions, they focus more on preparation to pray rather than prayers. And that's why there's so many books and traditions written for how to prepare yourself to pray. So many spiritual exercises are there in many traditions. In even Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhajan Rahasya, that is a preparation to pray. So that when that time comes, we don't like fall off in a survival reflex. So that's one thing, preparation. And when that time, if you are prepared, then it will happen. Second thing is, or of course, when the time comes and if you are not able to pray, if you are not prepared, then the best thing is at that time is then devotees. We have to take help from some devotees who can actually give us confidence and help us to pray at that time, like that. And the second, so what's the second question? I just forgot.
So just as including as a component of prayer, praise to the Lord to start with, to express our gratitude and then request forgiveness. So these three aspects in that prayer, how does it fit into Siksastakam prayer philosophy?
Well, express a gratitude to whom?
To the Lord. For
okay. Express our gratitude to the Lord and asking for forgiveness. That thing?
And praising Him.
And also praising Him, okay. Yeah, praising Him, of course. The first verse is praising Him and His holy name. We all understand. Of course, whole Siksastakam, all verses are praising Him directly or indirectly. Because it's all, as I told, prayers are for God's sake, and Mahaprabhu is, but of course, we might not realize at this level how, for example, sentiments of separation is praising Him. Now, 𝗙𝗲𝗹𝗶, these are sentiments of separation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that a woman looks beautiful when she's ornamented. So, devotee looks beautiful when he is ornamented with the mood of separation. And that's why Mahaprabhu is saying, bring this mood of separation so that you look beautiful in the eyes of God. So in that sense, you are actually praising and glorifying Him. And then gratitude, I don't know, I have to think about that, about expressing gratitude. How does it really fit in that? But of course, it should be there. And then ask, gratitude. Namna makari bahuda neja karva shaktis. Tarpat padaniya vedesmarnena kala. Eta adrishi tav kripa bhagavan mamapi. I explained. So there's so many names you have given. And these names are there which can help us to approach you. So that we are expressing gratitude to Him. That although you are unapproachable in Upanishads and Vedas, you've given a way through your holy names to help us approach you. So we are expressing a gratitude to Him. And asking for forgiveness, of course, that's there in the I think in the, maybe let's say where should I say that? I have to think about that, asking for forgiveness.
Can we misuse our prayers?
Misuse our prayers? What's that? Meaning?
Just turning it around at this, we pray, as you said, we should not have expectations. So in our minds, when we pray, we sometimes just go to the waiting room of the Lord and just wait there. But in our mind, can we misuse this concept? Can we be too dependent? Can we?
Yeah, of course. Of course, you're right. I mean to say, all these Sahajiyas, they misuse prayers. That is Sahajism. Sahajism is basically this fact that they're misusing prayers to actually bring God under their control and actually exploit Him for their own selfish benefits. So there, I mean to say, if you go to Vrindavan and Radhakund, all these Sahajiyas, they are actually praying 24 hours, all these Raghunath Das Goswami, Stabhavli and this and that. But actually their whole motive is selfish, and their whole motive is to actually make Krishna as their order supplier. So they are misusing. This is the whole Sahajism is this only. That's all.
Is there any situation that or anybody's prayers may not be heard?
Yeah, there are many situations. I mean to say, it's a very big topic. There are many situations where prayers are. One situation is that it's a big topic, but I can just touch. One situation is that Krishna might not purposefully hear the prayers because because you know what? So there's one saint. He said that God sometimes do not hear prayers. So the angel, he goes to God and he said, why are you not hearing prayers of this person? Krishna says, I'm not hearing the prayers of this person because I like to hear his voice. That's why I'm not fulfilling his prayers. So I want that he should. But the other person whose prayer I fulfilled, I don't want to hear his voice, so I fulfilled his prayers. Like that. So that's one thing. That's one situation where our prayers are seemingly not heard like that. So then there are many situations, and maybe we can.
And is there a difference in potency of the prayer when you're doing a prayer in the dham and or outside the dham?
Yeah, there might be. I mean to say, there might be. It depends on consciousness. If a person is staying in the dham and he's not really in the dham and in his mind, what's the point? So in fact, Catholicism and Protestants, that was a whole issue there, because Catholicism, they said that you should pray in church through popes. But then Protestants came, they said this is absurd, church is not required, we can pray anywhere. The consciousness is important. So that's what is our Gaudiya Vaishnavism is all about. Gaudiya Vaishnavism never really emphasized on praying in dham. They were emphasized, but of course they always emphasize the importance of dham. That's not demeaned. But as far as prayer is chanting, Gaudiya Vaishnava said you should pray with the consciousness of dham. And so there's a famous verse, Jahan dekhi dekha hai Vrindavan. So Nadi dekhi mana hai Kalindi, Shail dekhi mana hai Govardhan. Mahaprabhu is staying in Jagannath Puri and he's seeing Vrindavan there. So that's the whole idea. Our whole Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition is more on consciousness rather than place. So to say whether it's powerful in dham, it depends what kind of consciousness is there. It's not necessarily true.